The San Antonio Spurs are heading to the NBA Finals. In an absolute shocker, the San Antonio Spurs have just knocked out the Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA's best regular season team and the defending champions. We've witnessed some legendary battles in the Western Conference Finals over the years, and huge credit goes to both of these powerhouse teams for never backing down from the challenge. But in the end, this series belonged to the Spurs. They just look like the better, healthier team executing under the immense pressure of Game 7.
What makes it even wilder is that they did it right on OKC's home court. A massive turning point, though, was their dominant performance back home in Game 6, where they absolutely blew out the Thunder by 27 points. Going into a do-or-die Game 7, the Spurs carried all that momentum and confidence with them, completely unfazed by the hostile road crowd. Right from the first quarter, San Antonio pushed their lead into double digits. Now, the Thunder did manage to cut into the deficit a few times because they are simply too talented to go down easily, but kudos to the Spurs' unwavering consistency on both offense and defense. It allowed them to survive every run and quickly recover control. As expected, whenever the Thunder are held to a low-scoring game, they become incredibly vulnerable. In this matchup, they were held to just 103 points, a massive drop from the 124-point average they racked up during their 3 wins earlier in this series. When it comes to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you can't look at his performance and find a single flaw. He put up an incredible 35 points and 9 assists while shooting nearly 60% from the field, knocking down tough shot after tough shot. SGA absolutely showed up because he knew his team desperately needed him to. The problem was that his second best co-star, J-Dub, was completely out of commission. Meanwhile, Chet Holmgren totally disappeared in the biggest game of their season. Chet finished with just 4 points on 2 shot attempts in 33 minutes of action during this crucial season-defining game. He was completely swallowed up by his matchup against Victor Wembanyama, which totally sapped his aggressiveness and confidence to let it fly. Because of that, SGA was left stranded at the end with practically no backup. He had 0 co-star help due to the absence of J-Dub and the ghosting of Chet, the exact core guys who helped anchor their championship run last year. To make matters worse, Jay Mitchell was also sidelined, taking away another one of their top playoff scorers. Yes, a few role players tried their best to step up, guys like Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, and Kenrich Williams, but it still wasn't enough to pull off a victory here. Aside from Shai, not a single Thunder player scored even 18 points. Down the stretch, you could visibly see the severe lack of secondary help because Shai was forced into taking heavily contested, low-percentage shots. On some of his late attempts, he didn't even hit the rim. The man was just completely exhausted. On the flip side for the San Antonio Spurs, it was a completely different story. They had contributors firing from all cylinders, especially in the fourth quarter. Wemby, Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, Julian Champagnie, Devin Vassell, and De'Aaron Fox all chipped in with crucial, timely baskets. Their offense is so much more sustainable when they aren't forced into being a one-man show. Unlike the Thunder, who entered Game 7 with only one guy hitting the 35-point mark while everyone else finished with single digits, the Spurs executed beautiful team basketball. In the final minutes, San Antonio's offense remained totally unpredictable, and everyone on the floor was playing with sky-high confidence because they were all actively involved. As for the Thunder, everyone expected them to just hand the ball back to Shai and stand around. With the game on the line, the rest of the roster looked genuinely afraid to even look at the rim. For the Spurs, the biggest scoring spark supporting Wembanyama came from Julian Champagnie. He erupted for 20 points, knocking down 6 massive three-pointers. It was an incredibly crucial performance that completely opened up the floor for everyone else to operate. Beyond that, San Antonio's perimeter players were phenomenal on both ends of the court. Not only did they produce double-digit scoring, but their defensive rotations on the other end were flawlessly effective. There wasn't a single weak link. The execution from the supporting cast surrounding Wembanyama in this Game 7 was nothing short of elite. Even Luke Kornet, despite playing limited minutes, provided massive quality. He actually swatted away the most important block of the game when he rejected Isaiah Hartenstein at the rim. But let's give major props to Wemby himself. We all know the coaching staff usually manages his playing time to protect his long-term health, but for this do-or-die game, they unleashed him for 42 grueling minutes in regulation. Honestly, if he hadn't flirted with foul trouble, he probably would have played even longer. When it was all said and done, he anchored the team with a monster performance, pulling down 22 points, 7 rebounds, while stretching the floor with 3 triples. And his defensive presence inside was an absolute fortress, as usual. It's now official. Looking back at this entire series, he was undeniably the best player on the floor for either team. Even SGA, who was crowned the league MVP this year, was ultimately outperformed by Victor over these 7 games. Wembanyama wrapped up the series averaging an absurd 27 and 11 stat line, while shooting a lethal 40% from beyond the arc, alongside nearly 3 blocks and 1.4 steals per game. He remains the ultimate X factor who willed this Spurs team to survive a grueling 7-game war. Winning the Western Conference Finals MVP was incredibly well-deserved. And now, the time has come. The San Antonio Spurs are officially headed to the NBA Finals. What an unbelievable story this group has written over the past year. A 60-win regular season, securing the 2nd seed in a loaded Western Conference, and dethroning the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder in the conference finals. To do all this in the very first playoff appearance of the Wemby era, after sitting at the bottom of the standings for so many years, and instantly make it to the biggest stage in basketball is unreal. The Spurs are officially back in the finals for the first time in over a decade. It's a phenomenally successful return to greatness following a long, patient rebuild. But then again, the journey isn't finished yet. Like Kobe Bryant famously said, job's not finished. Standing between them and the ultimate NBA title are the kings of the Eastern Conference, the New York Knicks. This is another incredibly deep, physical team that dominates on both offense and defense, led by elite superstars, a brilliant head coach, and an airtight system. Let's not forget, they are also the exact team that beat the Spurs earlier this year in the NBA Cup Finals. A championship is far from guaranteed for San Antonio because this Knicks squad is the real deal. We are going to break everything down in complete detail in our upcoming NBA Finals preview, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow our page so you don't miss it. But for right now, let's give a massive congratulations to the San Antonio Spurs on a well-deserved Western Conference championship and an NBA Finals berth.